Hey everyone, this is my build of the apartment from Spider-Man, the original trilogy. This is Peter Parker's apartment, and it is absolutely crusty and disgusting. I really wanted to capture the disgusting air to it, so I had definitely had a lot of fun with this build because I don't really get to make gross and crusty builds all the time. Most of my builds are fairly modern and they look all nice and pretty, and so getting to go through and just be absolutely disgusting with this build was really fun. Okay, so I had never seen the Spider-Man movies before. I literally just watched them for the first time. And I can say without a doubt that Tobey Maguire is my favorite Spider-Man. I think he's really funny, and I think I enjoyed his movies the most out of all of them. He just definitely has a charisma to it, and it makes the movies really, really enjoyable. So I was glad I got to go see those. And I also have tickets to see the new movie this Friday, and I'm so hyped for it. I think it'll be really, really good. And so this is me going through trying to make this apartment. It's kind of difficult because his apartment, there's no official art or concept art of how they're designing the apartment or what it looks like. And so I basically had to go look up pictures on Google, which is also very hard to find because not a lot of people have pictures of his apartment. So I had to go on Google, and then I also had to scrub through the movie several different times to find different angles. And then the apartment is also different between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. So here, first I'm going off of Spider-Man 2, but then later in the build, I'll look at Spider-Man 3 and be like, oh my god, they changed some things. In Spider-Man 2, they had this really big dresser right outside of his door, and then eventually I end up getting rid of the dresser. And you'll see me put out a lot of things, and this is to figure out which one looks, I guess, maybe the most outdated or the most rattiest. And so I will go through and look at all the colors and be like, okay, which one fits the vibe? Actually, so Peter Parker has a mini fridge, which is pretty hype. So I put the mini fridge in, and also The Sims has a mini fridge. So I was really excited to get to use the mini fridge because I never get to use the mini fridge. This kitchen also goes through several phases as well. At first, I have it based off Spider-Man 2, but then I kind of like the use of Spider-Man's 3. It has a better use of space with it. So I go through and eventually change this entire thing. But I also really like these super ratty cabinets. I think they're so cute. And I feel like I really enjoyed all the destroyed stuff. It's definitely fun to do a build like this. And so it was just a good time to get this aesthetic going. And then he also has a lone light bulb hanging from the ceiling of his room. And we actually don't have any lone just open light bulbs, which kind of sucked. So I was like, whatever. I was struggling. I was searching because I really wanted to get that light bulb in, but we don't have one, oddly enough. I feel like it would be a good item to add in the future. I think it would be cool, look good in builds. So I just used this because I think it gives off a very dramatic light, and I think it makes the whole thing look kind of crusty. So literally, when this is paused, this is just me looking for better references to use for this house. And so I have no clue what to put over here. So I play around with the idea of throwing in a desk. Eventually, I really don't end up putting in a desk, but it's literally just because I had no clue what to put over there. Oh, I'm yawning. Ugh, sorry. Okay. So then I'm like, okay, no desk. That looks awkward. That looks clunky. We don't like that. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to put in this light. He has this light near his bed. He probably uses it to read books like a nerd. So I was like, okay, here you go. You get this crusty, dusty little wall light. That I love his wallpaper. Super easy for me to use because of how gross and crusty it looks at the bottom. He really does not care about how his apartment looks because I really don't think he's spending a lot of time in his apartment. I think he's literally just using it to do the essentials. But if he has free time, I feel like he would rather spend it anywhere else. So then I changed the kitchen. I switched that all over. And then he has these cabinets above his kitchen counters. So not cabinets, shelves. Oh my gosh, I'm so silly. So I put the shelves there. And then I want to put stuff on the shelves. I think they're good. And then I throw in the the cabinets. I move them over a little bit so it's more even. I just really struggled a lot with how I wanted to lay this out. So here we are, like, I've pulled up Spider-Man 3 at this point, and I've decided that I like this apartment's design more than the other one. Like, they both have the same aesthetic and the same, like, space, but some of the items are moved around. Like, for example, he doesn't have as many counters in the other one. In Spider-Man 3, he has a lot more counter space, and I think it looks better. And this is me just pouring through items to see if any items fit well. I really wanted a basic paper towel holder, but I couldn't find one that didn't look fancy, so I just ended up using that fancy one. And so I just like plopped that down. I was like, you know, fine, whatever, this will work. It'll be all right. And so I'm just going through. His apartment is super big right now. But that's just because I have I have a lot more space I need to put in. Like, for example, he has like this dresser by his bed with like a bunch of like a fan and a picture of Mary Jane on. So I really want to put that in. He also, okay, so he has this weird like library built into the wall. It's like shelving built into the wall. And there's no item like that in The Sims. So it's really, I'm so sorry. Anyways. I was really searching to try to find some shelving. I was like, okay, I'll just put shelving there. It'll be fine. I can put books on it. And I was like, no, I can't put books on it. This is me struggling, trying to put books on it and being frustrated that I couldn't. So I just put this back. I chose this one because I think it looks like the most outdated and the most silly out of all of them. It's also small, so I thought that was good. Lighting. He has a bunch of weird random lights that don't match with each other in his house. I think it's absolutely hilarious. I thought it's a nice detail. I really like all of the lighting in this house. And then he also has this random chair just like in his living room. I'm like, okay, do you like sit and eat your breakfast there? Like, go off, I guess. The chair in the movie has like a jacket like thrown over it. I wish that was like an object, but it's not. And then this is me wanting to put a fan on his dresser because he has one in the movie, but there's no fan that's not locked behind this career. So then I'm like, oh, that sucks. And so I have to Google the cheat how to unlock the fan from the career. So I eventually put it in and I'm like, yay, it worked. And then he has this light in, so I'm like, do I want to use that light or that light? But then that light has a stupid little sticker, so I was like, no, we'll just use the light we originally got, like, it's fine. And so this is me just going, looking around, figuring out like, okay, what do I put in next? And I think I put it in all the fundamentals. I'm checking in with all the pictures. I'm like, okay, well, you know what I'm gonna do is, not again! Oh my goodness, so sorry. Ugh, it's literally 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why I'm so yawny today. But I was like, okay, I have all the essentials in, so now I think I just get to add my own personal touch and put in a bunch of clutter to really fill up this space, which is exactly what I do, and I think it adds a lot of character to the apartment. I think if I was making like a one-to-one recreation of it, I don't know if it would look good. This is me looking for stained glass because he has stained glass for some reason in his apartment, like next to the main door, and I'm like, what? However, what I do throw in is these support beams because he actually has them like in the middle of his apartment, just like straight up support beams. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of funny. So I do end up putting just in, and I know it's not symmetrical, but there's no way to make it symmetrical, and maybe it fits with the ugly vibe of the house, I don't know. So I threw that in, and then I'm yawning again! No, I will not let myself. He actually has a mirror on one of the support beams, but there's no way for me to do that in The Sims, so I just end up putting the mirror on the wall there because I have a bunch of open space that I don't really know what to do with. And of course I go through putting cobwebs in. Like, first of all, he's Spider-Man. Second of all, there's no way he takes care of those cobwebs. He's like, oh, it's fine, I don't really care. He just literally lives in this apartment. He just sleeps, eats, and then he leaves. He does not care about the spiders. I really don't think he's a clean freak, especially looking at his stupid crusty apartment. It's literally so gross looking at it. In the movie, it's like, ugh. So this is me going through, adding a bunch of wall details and decorations to really make this apartment look like it's super old and aged. And so I'm just pouring through. I love all these stupid things that came with the vampire pack. I think it is so useful for builds like these, all these little extra decor. I really like it. Also really happy with the door that I put right there, that white one. I think... No! I need to stop yawning. I've just been attacked. I think it matches so well with this door from the movies. It literally looks so good. And so this is me just throwing in a lot of clutter everywhere to really just make the place more like lived in. I really wanted to give the idea that this is like this young adult's apartment, and he doesn't really take good care of it. He just sort of lives here. And so this is me just throwing in a lot of things. He also has a lot of wires across his apartment, so I really wanted to find something with wires, and I just couldn't, and I'm really sad. So Sims team, add wires so that I can put into my build, please. I would really like to have wires. And so now I'm just going through looking for clutter. I like got a bunch of shoes in the corner, laundry, of course, because I know he is not doing his laundry. I know that Aunt May definitely goes up to his apartment and does his laundry for him, because there's no way in hell this man is doing his own laundry. And then eventually I just look up Spider, which I think was funny because I want to see what Spider bought up, but it just bought up like this very obvious spider web, so I was like, no. And then I put the picture of the apple there because he has a picture of Mary Jane on his desk, so I was like, you know what, the apple's red, maybe it can just like symbolize her. I'm sorry, Mary Jane, you have been demoted to apple. Not really sorry though, because you're kind of mean, but whatever. And so this is me just going in, throwing in random items, random stuff that he would just have everywhere. Like, I know he has books literally everywhere because he's a little nerd. And then I moved that under the sink because I think it's more realistic. And he actually has a trash can under his sink in the other one. So it's kind of like a trash can. It's just cleaning items. So I just put it there. I think putting down the clutter was my favorite part of making this build because it really just makes the entire build come alive to me. I think it adds a lot of personality. Oh, and then I put the trunks under his bed, like where he has like the Venom suit. I was like, maybe he got like the Venom suit under his bed or something, like suspicious. And then, of course, I would give him some tissues. I try to throw in a lot of red and blue throughout the area so it ties in with like his Spider-Man suit. You know, thematically, we are keeping it up. And so hopefully the whole thing goes off like Spider-Man vibes. And so that's like the Venom trunk right there. Like, you know what I mean? Was I creative for that? I don't know. And so this is me throwing in a bunch of laundry. I really just want to make this place look absolutely disgusting. And I struggle. Oh yeah, I love this little ironing board. I think it's so cute and I think it works so well in his room. And so he has the laundry basket there, which is ironic because he definitely does not use the laundry basket, especially with all this laundry everywhere. And I actually struggled a lot with the laundry because there's only like one like design of laundry piles, so we really didn't want to make it like obviously copied and pasted all over the room. So I was like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. I just changed the colors of it. And then I put this little vent under the mirror to make it more like, I don't know, maybe realistic. Maybe that's how he gets his heating, but the heating definitely does not work in his room. Ew. And then I'm just looking through, seeing if there's any last minute things I can add. Add a little bread box eventually to just clutter out that counter more. But I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good. So this was how the build turned out. I actually go and I mess with the lights to try to make it look more crusty, more dim. Look at this, we got the ambiance. I was like, too yellow, that one's fine. And I just dim it down a little. And so we only have a little light. And here's what I ended up with. I'm actually so happy with how this turned out. Definitely a build that I am super, super proud of, especially so it was kind of difficult to make with the limited angles that the movie provided me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This will be up on the gallery if you would like it. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts in the comments on anything, literally anything. Anyways, have a great time. Bye-bye.